Yuseol suddenly felt a little frustrated. He sighed lightly and muttered, "Good, I got over it." Then he thought, but will I really be able to survive in this Stella Academy, not to be more precise, survive in this world? While looking at the sky next to the window, Yuseol thought, if I had something to help me in a situation like this. Suddenly Yuseol remembered something. Come to think of it, there was one notification that I hadn't checked. The notification contains the Constellation project. First, the low version of the items you use in the game. Second, the low version of the skills you acquire in the game. Third, EXP. Then Yuseol said, it seems that the system people at least have commercial ethics. While looking at the system hologram, he rubbed his chin and thought, let's see which one I should choose. Is it possible that I can take Returning Light or Prius of the Flash? The system then replied, as a result of the quest the item grade is too high and will be drastically lowered. Yuseol then asked, what about Hyperspace Blink? Hearing that, the system then replied, as a result of the quest, the skill is a high version of the Blink skill and cannot be obtained. However, you can use the reward to slightly increase the Blink skill. Hearing that, Yuseol was a little surprised and thought, should it really be lowered? The system then replied, due to your lack of narrative power, we are also unable to fully manifest. Yuseol then thought, what is that? While putting his right hand in his pocket, then the system replied, a power that drives the progress of the story is called narrative power. If you continue to explore unknown branches of the story like yesterday, the narrative power will increase. Yuseol then muttered, so in short, you can't provide me with late game items, because I'm still too newbie. But the system suddenly became silent when he heard that. Yuseol was silent for a moment, seeing that. He then asked again, how about Bubble glasses? But the system was silent again for a moment, then replied, based on inspection, our system has concluded that we can provide it. Yuseol then replied, well, then I will take it. Suddenly a pair of glasses appeared in his left hand. Then Yuseol said, I never thought the day I wear this thing would come. In the Aether World, remembering and reading information related to monsters that have been hunted or knowledge that has been obtained is impossible, so players develop various items to store information in their own way. Yuseol then muttered, and I also did that. While wearing the glasses, a system screen appeared that contained, Bubble glasses, grade, description, don't remember last night's dinner menu, don't worry anymore, because these glasses remember every piece of knowledge you have seen. Special features, Bulbul folder, seal, description, consumes mind power to activate. Yuseol then muttered, open the folder. Hearing that, the system replied, while opening the bubble folder, suddenly a holographic screen appeared containing, alchemy ingredients, hunting zones, dungeons, monsters, characters. Then Yuseol thought, well, this is enough, because this place is really the real world. There is no way I can know, I can grind as much as using the game system, but with these glasses, I should be able to regain half the ability I used to have. As he moved away from the side of the window, not long after, Yuseol heard people talking. Hey, isn't that Acel? Do you mean the eldest daughter of the traitor Dutch Malf? With a disgusted tone, he then said, how dare he show his face here? Hearing that, he then told his friend to lower his voice, and whispered to him. Later he heard, hearing their whispers, Yuseol then stopped his steps and looked at Acel, and said that if you think about it, one of the functions of Nightingale glasses is that it allows me to register or check character information in the story. While putting his left hand near the glasses, then a holographic screen came out containing, Acel Malf, fake heroine, Ice Lightning Mage, likes to drink pickle juice first when eating pizza. Her eldest daughter Malf Duchy, her father's death led to the fall of her family, will later die. Then Yuseol muttered, so she is the fake heroine. While looking at Acel, who was now walking away, Yuseol then muttered, in order to explain herself to Acel, the fake heroine, there is one thing I must underline. Although the place I am currently in is a game called Aether World, in fact, Aether World is a game based on an original romantic fantasy novel, called Don't Love the Princess, and the novel is about Acel the heroine, who had lost her entire family. She grew up facing the plans of the villainous Hong Baiyan, and in the end united with the male protagonist. At the end of the story, she revenge plan disappeared and the male protagonist protected her. The novel had a sad ending after receiving bad feedback from readers, but the problem is, although the game world is based on the novel, the story is much different. In the game, an original character named Flame was added. She took the role of the heroine. besides this character named Flame has a background, that is, she is a woman who lives an ordinary life in the modern world. She regularly and likes to read the novel Don't Love the Princess, and was transferred to this world. So different from the novel, Yuseol became a fake heroine in the game, while Flame became the real heroine. Although many players tried many times, she said that she could not survive on any route, which ended up he was pushed from the real heroine position, but Yuseol didn't really care about that. He felt that it had nothing to do with him. While taking off his glasses, he then thought, but is it just my imagination? It feels like I've seen she somewhere. It must be just my imagination. I should get ready to leave. One day at Stella Academy, on a sunny day, the students were seen neatly lined up in the courtyard. Then came the headmaster's loud voice from above. He said, as you already know, the dark demonic humans are mages who have received the power of the other world and turned into monsters. Even at this time, the dark demonic humans are constantly invading. By opening the persona gate or releasing the ancient world to disturb the magic world from the back world, our destiny as mages is to protect the world from the pressure of darkness. There are people muttering, what a boring speech to start the semester, so uninteresting. And next, we will carry out the oath ceremony for the 4 admitted students with the highest scores, as well as the representatives of the new students. Students, please come up to the podium. The students then climbed the podium. They had good looks. Yuseol thought their faces were all shining, suitable for their position as the main character. However, the brightest here of all must be, the principal's loud voice was then heard, the new student representative, Ma Yuseong. People then said, he is the student with the highest score. How come he is handsome and smart at the same time? Yuseol looked at the podium and thought, so that's the famous Ma Yuseong. Ma Yuseong. He is the character that best fits the phrase, from heaven to earth, I am the honorable one, with the status of Mana 9-star. Having the potential close to the realm of deities, he is a genius that can control all the elements in this world. Even if I can't achieve the true ending, I should at least aim to avoid the bad ending. While looking at Ma Yuseong, he then decided to lead her to the good side, but he realized that it completely depends on Flame. Yuseol then looked at Flame, and muttered, it depends on how she acts from here on, since she is also from the real world just like me. Maybe approaching she is a good idea, but things will get complicated if she considers me as an enemy and I am rejected by her. Since I have the privilege in terms of information, I shouldn't have to risk anything. Flame is a romantic fantasy novel hacker and I am a romantic fantasy game hacker. The loud voice heard from above continued, solemnly swearing to it. Amidst the loud voice of the principal that was still heard, Yuseol then helplessly thought, but how important am I that I'm even less important than a store NPC in the village anyway? But Yuseol suddenly paused for a moment and thought, especially since the heroine has a special ability to purify dark demonic humans, but apart from that, she even has an ability that can make her impoverish the people around her. Being around her will definitely affect me too. My role is to support the main characters from afar. While looking at everyone on the podium, Yuseol thought that her role is to support the main characters from afar, and not get involved with them as much as possible. With the event coming to a close, the principal then announced, thus, we will end this entrance ceremony. Hearing that, they all then clapped together happily. On a quiet day in the Stella Academy classroom, Yuseol sat in the back row. He thought, it's been a long time since I graduated from college. It feels so strange to be a high school student again. However, in the midst of that strange feeling, Yuseol then took out a gold-colored pocket watch from his uniform pocket. He looked at the watch and muttered, but still, having this thing feels great. Stella's pocket watch. A pocket watch that proves that we are students at the most prestigious magic academy. If we have this, we will get much better treatment and service than most magic fighter license holders. Yuseol then thought, I want to use this as soon as possible. While putting the pocket watch back, the classroom doors suddenly opened. A professor then entered. While holding a thick stack of papers in his hand, he said, okay, everyone, sit in your respective seats. His voice sounded firm, making the classroom atmosphere suddenly silent. Now, we will start the exam, so put away all items except your writing utensils. For those who wear glasses will be checked first. Hearing that, Yuseol then thought, so after the entrance ceremony, the next exam is the exam. The curriculum of Stella Academy is tougher than most universities in Korea. We have an exam even on the first day. This exam is called the class arrangement exam, which means, it's a class determination exam, the teacher then said. Okay, the exam starts. After all the exam papers were distributed, Yuseol looked at the question sheet in front of him. He then muttered, I don't understand the content at all. With a slightly panicked face, the class arrangement exam is different from the entrance exam, which is famous for its high difficulty. Students are put into classes F to A and S based on this exam. Of course, most of the playable characters clearly entered class S. On the other hand, Baek Yuseol, who entered the academy as the last rank among 1141 students, he then thought, I have successfully entered here. Can I just deposit a blank sheet? Do I have a chance to be expelled? Can I be expected to enter class F? Yuseol then looked forward more precisely towards Ma Yuseong, and thought back. He was just like that. The exam sheet, he had completed it. It was appropriate that life was boring for him, while sighing lightly. Ma Yuseong's character trait is boredom. He was born into the most powerful family in the world, and since he has the most genius talent and brain in the world, everything is too easy for her. That's why, depending on how the female lead acts, Ma Yuseong's character will be determined to be evil or good. The dark demonic humans who are trying to mess up humans will definitely be very interested in Ma Yuseong. Her first biggest problem is her family. Yuseol then turned her gaze to the question sheet in front of her. He thought, somehow seeing a genius makes me compare myself even more. However, an idea suddenly came to her mind. Wait, can I use bulbul glasses for this too? I used to use it quite often when playing the game, to backtrack the extra skills I learned in the library. Good, anyway there's nothing to lose, so let's try it, while taking the glasses from under his uniform. Suddenly the professor approached and said, wait, what are those glasses? Yuseol then felt panic. I have clearly said that if you are going to use glasses, you must be checked first, said the professor. Yuseol then muttered, oh right. While handing over the glasses, the professor took the glasses and said, let me check. Immediately a faint light came out of the glasses. Yuseol felt panic and muttered, what now? If it was discovered that there was magic on it, I might be expelled immediately. A few moments later, a hologram system suddenly appeared. The hologram contained one part of the missing bulbul glasses had been found. Do you want to call him? Immediately Yuseol felt very panic, then muttered, oh yeah that's right, please be quiet first, system. After a while the professor observed the glasses. He found nothing and said, I don't feel the mana from it. Make sure next time you ask to be checked. While handing back the glasses, okay, replied Yuseol, with a forced smile. Yuseol then thought, if the original function was working there would be a problem. While putting on his glasses, he muttered, now let's see. Suddenly the answer came out of the question sheet. I can really see the answer. This is the jackpot. What if I get first place with this? With this, I will definitely be free from class F and maybe even get class A. With a smiling face, suddenly the teacher announced, the exam is over, collect your answers. Hearing that, Yuseol was surprised then muttered, what, I just answered 3 questions. Immediately the exam papers flew towards the teacher. It seems like they have their own will. I think I will finally be free from class F. It must be too much, muttered Yuseol. After seeing all the exam sheets the professor suddenly approached Yuseol and said, you give the glasses right now, hurry. With a stern tone, Yuseol felt panic and replied, sorry. While giving the glasses, after observing the glasses, the professor still did not find anything suspicious. With a confused face, he said, no way, you there. Bring Dr. Gray in here. Another student replied, good sir. Yuseol then thought, why did he suddenly do that? I even wrote my answer process clearly so as not to be suspected of cheating. Did I get caught? After a while later, Dr. Graham, professor of magic engineering, arrived in the classroom. What do you think, doctor? Asked the professor. The doctor then replied, the fact that he answered this question correctly is obviously suspicious. Then did he cheat? Asked the professor. Dr. Graham shook his head, then replied, but he didn't cheat. I didn't feel any magic tools from his glasses or things. He must have answered with his own ability. While looking at Yuseol, the doctor said, how interesting, I didn't expect to see this in my lifetime. However, Professor Lee Hanwol apologized to this student and guided him well. While patting his hand on Yuseol's shoulder attentively, the professor nodded and replied, okay, and said I misunderstood, I apologize. Yuseol smiled awkwardly and replied mistakes happen, please be careful in the future. In his heart, he muttered, honestly I did cheat. It could really be bad if the original function was still working. he then felt relieved that he managed to escape the situation. I'm lucky, as long as I don't get caught, Yuseol thought.